Do you think that Donald Trump is going to be able to negotiate a deal with Vladimir Putin on Ukraine and help us avoid World War III? Well, take a look at the latest headlines with me. World War III warning issued by a retired general. He is saying that this is the direction that we are going. Tulsi Gabbard comes out today and says, on my role in the Trump administration, I am here to help prevent World War III. Now, the quote she gave, not only World War III, but also nuclear war is a major concern that she is vocalizing. And take a look at this. Vladimir Putin issues World War III warning to Donald Trump as Russia shows off nuclear missiles. As we heard that Russia had said that they congratulated Donald Trump, yet at the same time Putin warning that the U.S. is a threat to Russia at this time and that there needs to be a new world order head up by Russia. And the United States responding, flexing its own ICBM powers, as we saw on election night, November the 5th, the United States launching its own ICBM, testing triple warhead capabilities, showing what the United States is capable of. And in addition to that, I shared with you earlier today that we heard that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are seeing eye to eye, and the new defense minister says that Iran's nuclear facilities right now, they are more exposed than ever before after the Israeli strike on October 26th, they're taking into consideration potentially hitting those nuclear facilities. And also, North Korea has been doing their own tests, and as a result, the U.S. B-1B bomber sent to North Korea's doorstep as a warning to Kim Jong-un. This coming out a couple of weeks ago, but you can see the headlines coming across, you guys, that there is a lot of concern right now about World War III. And let me know in the comments, do you think that Donald Trump is going to be able to help us avoid potential World War III nuclear war, as we heard vocalized by Tulsi Gabbard? If you think so, put yes in the comments. If you think no, that there is going to be World War III regardless, Donald Trump will not have the solution, go ahead and put no in the comments. Yes, if you think Donald Trump can help us avoid World War III. No, if you think that it is not going to be enough. If you think we are still heading in the direction of World War III, drop a no if you don't think he's going to be able to help us detour potential global war. And I see no's and yeses coming in the chat. Some people saying yes, Donald Trump is going to be the solution to help with the global conflict. Some people saying no. And don't forget, while you're dropping those yeses and no's, I see we've got several people in the chat with me live, approaching 1,400. Don't forget, take a quick second. If you appreciate the live updates, keeping you up to speed on everything, sharing with you the latest headlines, keeping you up to speed, citing the sources, putting it on the screen, reading right from it, holding myself accountable to the community, citing it like a book report, take a quick second and drop a like for me while you're dropping those yeses and those nos. I see them still coming in rapid fire in the chat. People saying yes, he's going to be able to help us out. Some people say no, World War III is inevitable. So, man, they are just pouring in. I see somebody saying yes, of course. Don't fund the war, and Donald Trump is going to save us. Now, I've heard this vocalized as well, as Donald Trump has not divulged how it is that he's going to be ending the war with Russia and Ukraine, but I've shared with you here on the channel a lot of people speculating Donald Trump is a businessman, and they're saying follow the money. We know that Russia is supplied funds from China. Ukraine is supplied funds from the United States and from NATO. All we literally need to do is turn off the spigots of funding pouring into these two nations, and neither of them would be able to sustain the war for more than we're hearing 2 weeks. So there is that potential opportunity to end that war there. We'll see. I'm sure it's very simplified in that version I gave, but this could be the direction that we could see Donald Trump go. And I'm seeing a lot of people saying yes in the comments. They believe that Donald Trump is going to be able to come to a ceasefire agreement, a truce, an end to the war with Russia, Ukraine. I'm also seeing a lot of no's pouring in as well. But in addition to that, as I mentioned, we also have China, Taiwan, North Korea, South Korea. We also have Israel and Iran. And I shared with you the headline saying that Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, Donald Trump, they are in lockstep, seeing eye to eye, and we're hearing there will be no withdrawing any type of funds from Israel. Donald Trump saying, Benjamin Netanyahu, go ahead and do what you need to do to keep the nation of Israel safe. Cincinnati Ray, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I appreciate that a ton. That helps spread this out further so more people can get the latest information. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that like button. 20 more likes gets us to 500 while we're live already. I appreciate the support. Also, don't forget, like I said, articles linked in the description below. Hit the like button to spread this out further. Subscribe to stay up to date, and also additional resources linked in the description below, so that way you can prepare for you and your family. I see Fire saying, thank you, Steve, for the live updates. You are very welcome. Abbas Rahim is saying, God bless America. Toilet paper shortage again, says Michael Whitcop. We'll see. And like I said, though, if you want to prepare now, additional resources of things you might want to stock up on linked in the description below, along with the newsletter, www.steveramnews, in case communication issues were to unfold. We've heard potential threats of physical attacks, cyber attacks, an assortment of different things. Now is not a bad time to start getting ready. But like I said, you guys, let me go ahead and share this with you so that way you can see what has come out just in the past 24 hours, as we are receiving this warning from a retired U.S. general that is saying World War III is around the corner. We need some serious changes very quickly. There are so many conflicts that could be taking us in this direction. And I've heard a lot of people say, no, that we are not trying to avoid World War III. World War III is already here. They are saying that when they go back and write the history books, it's likely going to be, if it starts with Russia and Ukraine, World War III started in 2022 with the invasion of Russia into Ukraine. If it starts with Israel and Iran, they're going to say that it started on October 7th of 2023 when Hamas did that proxy attack against Israel on that particular day. But a lot of people saying World War III is not on the way. It is already here. We are living in the middle of World War III. It is unfolding before our very eyes. So let me go ahead and share with you the latest so that way you can see it for yourself. I'm going to put it on the screen, the latest information coming out November 12th, 2024. Let's take a look at the video footage. Smash that like button. And also, if you can hear it okay, do me a favor, drop a 5x5 when the video starts so I know that I switched over the microphones correctly. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Welcome back, America. There's nobody better in the country to talk to about what's going on in the world today than retired four-star General Jack Keane. Received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, much deserved, from President Trump, and the Institute for the Study of War chairman, and basically really a brilliant military mind. And General Keane, a couple of things here. We have a new administration coming in. It looks like some of our enemies, I'll call them what they are, some of our enemies are taking notice and are a little nervous about it, the Iranians, the Chinese, and some of the others. So what do you make of this?
Yeah, well, absolutely right. I just want to congratulate you on your opening comments here. I mean, they were just spot on in terms of describing the global security challenges that we're facing. They are the most serious, the most dangerous, and the most challenging we have had since World War II. And I do believe that we're in a pre-war era leading to global war. That is the status that we're facing. The good news here is that all of these adversaries, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, who are cooperating, collaborating, and coordinating together in a degree that exceeded the expectations of all of our intelligence agencies, by the way, and they have been honest about that appraisal. The fact of the matter is they have to reassess, Mark, based on this election that's taken place, because they have been acting so aggressively, so assertively, because they believe that our leadership in the United States is weak, that we've lost the political will to confront them, much less go and fight them. And it's not isolated that Putin moved into Ukraine. It's not isolated that Iran operationalized all its proxies to destroy the state of Israel and drive the United States military out of the Middle East. And President Xi stepped up his game the last 3.5 years, intimidating and coercing Taiwan and the Philippines and our other allies in the region. This is all collectively happening because they believe they're going to be able to get away with it. And that's why this election has been a seminal event. And I'm convinced that President Trump knows that World War III is in the future, as you just described it, and that we have got to take action to restore deterrence in dealing with our adversaries. And one of those is rebuilding the military. It has to be done, and we have to fix how the Pentagon does its business, or we're going to be throwing taxpayers' money away. And we absolutely have to support our allies who are fighting these adversaries. Israel's fighting a major adversary. Give them everything they need to finish it as soon as possible. Ukraine is fighting Russia. Give them everything they need and finish it as soon as possible. These are investments in our security when our allies are fighting our adversaries.
So well put. And you know, General Keane, the Monroe Doctrine has been violated over and over again by China and Russia and Iran right now. They're in our hemisphere. They're in South America. They're in Central America. So people who think all these things are going on 7,000 miles away, 12,000 miles away, no, they're going on now. They're taking positions right in our backyard. They're threatening Alaska constantly. They're challenging our fighter jets. They're challenging our bombers in our own area around our own country and so forth. They don't plan to just stay put, do they?
No. I mean, the fact that this is a global comprehensive threat that you just mentioned is absolutely the case. China has an economic relationship with every single Latin American country, no exception, every single one of them. And why is that? Because they want to have a geopolitical influence over those countries. The same thing in Africa, and Russia has a very heavy hand in Africa dealing with training and arms, and the relationship is the same. They see this opportunity, Mark, where the United States and like-minded democracies have been controlling and dominating and influencing the world post-World War II, and they see weakness and the opportunity to change that dimension, where they're going to be more in control and the United States is going to be undermined. And they believe the United States is in decline. I don't agree with that. I think we've had some terrible policies, but which we can recover from. But the reality is they have had this momentum and they have this aggressiveness, and we've got to turn it around.
I want to pursue this further with you, General, when we return. We'll be right back.
There you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with him? He said that we have got to turn this around, that we are going in that direction of World War III, nuclear war. And as I mentioned, we're also hearing this coming out from Tulsi Gabbard as well. Now, take a look at this. It says in this article coming out today that Tulsi Gabbard on the role in Trump's administration, I am here to help prevent World War III. It says former U.S. Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, who recently switched teams from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party, has expressed her willingness to be a part of the President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet to help prevent World War III and nuclear war. And as I shared with you, a lot of nuclear testing taking place, a lot of nuclear flexing around the world with Russia, the United States, North Korea, and we're hearing this coming out from Israel and Iran as well. Now, when asked about News Nation anchor about the idea of her being a part of Trump's A-team, Gabbard said, President Trump is going through, and I know this is how he's spending a lot of his time right now, looking at marking decisions about who he wants to serve on his team and in his cabinet. And here you can see the actual post. She added, if there is any way that I can help achieve the goal and objective of preventing World War III and nuclear war, of course, I'd be honored to serve. Now, here is that actual post on X, so you can see it when she was on News Nation and said this live. And you can see that this actually came out in the last 24 hours as well. Now, this comes as we're hearing that Vladimir Putin, he congratulated Donald Trump, said, good job on becoming the president of the United States. Look forward to speaking with you again. However, I shared with you that he actually said that the United States is considered a threat, that the United States is the leader of the old world. He's leading BRICS nations movements to try to move away from that, and said that the old world is diminishing and it's time for a new world order. And of course, he is talking about having Russia being one of the leads of that, trying to bring in other nations, trying to overthrow the U.S. dollar, the economy, and Russia making aggressive moves as a world leader against the United States. They're already, as you know, the number one nuclear power on Earth. The United States is a close second. All the other nations are far behind. The U.S., the economic power of the world. Russia far behind in that area, and also we're hearing that the current war taking place is a major issue for them as well. However, we're hearing that that is not stopping Russia from showing off their nuclear capabilities with recent testings. Henry Brown, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. A lot of warnings, but some point doesn't those people come off like crying wolves? Isn't that why we pay taxes, for them to fix it? Yeah, great point, Henry. And I think that the issue is that we have had these warnings for quite some time, but they are escalating right now as tensions are increasing. So it's just getting stronger and stronger, worse and worse with the escalations, the warnings, and I think that they are intensifying now. Even though we've been hearing these warnings for quite some time, just because it's been going on for a while doesn't mean that, like you said, the boy that cried wolf, that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It's just we're seeing these things escalating, and without a doubt, especially the conflict we've seen in Israel and Iran, it has just been getting more and more intense. We've already seen military facilities struck in Iran. We're hearing the next step is going to be potentially oil refineries or those nuclear facilities. Those warnings coming out in the last 24 hours. And today I shared with you Benjamin Netanyahu coming out and saying, hey, Iran, imagine how nice it would be to not be controlled by the supreme leader of Iran and to have a free Iran. And he said that if Iran strikes Israel, that it is going to be devastating for the economy of Iran. Some people speculating that that is hinting at that he's going to be hitting those oil refineries. And as I mentioned to you, the new defense minister, Israel Katz, saying nuclear facilities now would be the time to strike and get rid of the existential threat against Israel and the United States. And like I said, Donald Trump saying he is on board. Go ahead. There will be nothing held back. Push forward, no ultimatums by the United States. But in addition to that, we are hearing, though, however, regarding the Russia-Ukraine front, that he is saying, hey, I'm going to be able to figure this out. We are going to stop the war with Russia and Ukraine. However, we're hearing the warnings coming out from Putin. We're going to be seeing what they have to say about this, what's going to be unfolding. And so, like I said, I will keep you up to date. Now, in addition to that, as I mentioned, we also saw the United States testing their ICBMs, actually doing this on election night, which caused a lot of concern. Let me know in the comments, were you concerned about this when you saw this? If you were, drop a 1 in the comments. If you were not, put a 2. But I know a lot of people saying, why in the world, with all of the warnings and all of the things and the threats and the conflicts taking place, would you launch an ICBM test on the night of elections? As there's already so many people that are concerned about potential disruptions and issues taking place. Drop a 1 if you were concerned. Drop a 2 if you weren't really that concerned. But we saw the United States launch its Minuteman ICBM launch test with a triple warhead from the United States, from California, on election night. And I believe it was 11 p.m. in the middle of the night, shortly after the elections were called, almost at the same time that Donald Trump was giving his speech, they were launching an ICBM. On November 5th, the United States launched an LGM-30G Minuteman III ICBM from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. Roughly 30 minutes later, the 3 warheads on board struck their targets 4,200 miles away at the Reagan test site in Marshall Islands. What is remarkable about this test is not that one of these ICBMs was fired, as this is regularly done to test the readiness of the U.S.'s ICBMs, but rather it carried 3 warheads instead of a single one. So they're saying, without a doubt, this was a flex by the United States, showing these other nations that have been doing these testings, that have issuing these threats and these warnings, what we are capable of, the preciseness of our nuclear capabilities. As we've seen for a long time, North Korea, a lot of people call him Rocket Man, launching these ICBM tests, failing miserably. And just a couple of weeks ago, we saw him finally launch a very successful ICBM test, to the point where the United States called an emergency meeting at the Pentagon within 24 hours, saying, yes, this proves North Korea now has the capabilities of striking anywhere in the United States. So we have seen this with North Korea. We know Russia has these capabilities. We also know China has these capabilities as well. And the U.S. trying to send reminders, hey, we also have this capability. and also Donald Trump is back in office. So we will see where we're going to be going from here. And let me know your thoughts. Who do you think is the biggest threat at this time? Put in the comments. Do you think it is Russia? Do you think it's China? North Korea? Is it Iran? These are the four adversaries of the United States right now that are coming to the forefront with war, conflict. The United States is involved in conflict with all of these adversaries. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Madison, thank you so much for the $5 super chat and the praying hands and the American flag. I appreciate that a ton. I will keep you up to speed on everything. James L. says they're all the same. And yeah, we've actually heard that warning as well, that they actually could be coordinating simultaneously, so that way, as a result, they can just go ahead and distract the United States, stretch it thin on its resources. I see Taham saying China, Terry is saying North Korea, Michael is saying Iran, Jessica, China, Joseph, China, Linda, China. A lot of these coming in here. Let's see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, in addition to that, as I mentioned, all these articles are going to be linked in the description below for you. Rodney saying all of the above. Casper saying China. All the same. Bololo is saying Russia. Yeah, so we will see, and hopefully we'll see some de-escalation. And again, the big question on people's minds right now is Trump going to be able to de-escalate the situation and cut a deal with Russian President Vladimir Putin? At this time, we are hearing that, as I mentioned, tensions are pretty high. Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulating Trump, yet at the same time saying that the United States is an enemy of Russia. And we're hearing that Russia is saying they're ready for nuclear war. They're ready for World War III. They don't want it, but they're saying that they will do whatever is necessary to maintain the sovereignty and the existence, the safety of Russia, as they're saying they're feeling threatened at this time by the United States, NATO, Ukraine. And also, we had heard Russian President Vladimir Putin saying that giving Ukraine the ability to strike within Russia with long-range missiles would be, in their opinion, an existential threat, an act of war, and that those nations that gave them that capability, specifically calling out the United States, would be held accountable for doing so. So we will see. And again, let me know your thoughts. Do you think that Trump is up for the task of de-escalating this? Can he avoid all-out conflict and war with these nations? Or do you think we are going to World War III? Let me know your thoughts. Can Trump stop this? If you think he can, put a yes. If you think Trump can't stop this and we are going to World War III, put a no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Jay, thank you for the kind words. Says, love your reporting, Steve. I appreciate that. I will continue to keep you up to date. Candace said, to answer your question, all of the above. She thinks Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran are all major existential threats to the United States. Yes. Donald Fox says no. He doesn't think that Donald Trump is up for the task. Mary says yes. Mark and John. Mark says yes. John says no. I'm seeing those yeses and those no's pouring in. And I really think that that is the primary question on people's minds right now. Is Donald Trump going to be able to help us avoid major conflict around the world? Now, as I mentioned, we're hearing him say that right now regarding Russia, yes, they believe that he is saying that he is going to stop the conflict with Russia, NATO, Ukraine. Now, Israel and Iran, he is saying full speed ahead. And I think that for the most part, this is my personal opinion, because of the extreme different opinions on these two nations and the conflicts taking place, I think that Donald Trump and the vast majority of the world see Russia as a real existential threat and know that they have the capabilities of nuclear war. Now, are they willing to go that route? I think that that would only be like an extreme situation where they feel like it's absolutely necessary, because everybody knows the repercussions of launching a nuclear weapon. But I think that the fact that he is trying to stop the war with Russia and Ukraine means that he sees the potential threat that lays there with Vladimir Putin. Now, on the other hand, the fact that he is telling Israel to go ahead and push forward, I think it shows the alliance of the United States and Israel in the eyes of Donald Trump, and also shows what he sees as the lack of a threat from Iran. As I mentioned before, Russia, the number one nuclear power on Earth, far, far ahead in capabilities, technologies, compared to Iran. Same thing with North Korea. North Korea, as you know, has, as I mentioned, Kim Jong-un being called Rocket Man with his inability to try to launch successful ICBMs. However, Russia, in exchange for North Korean troops, has provided, we're hearing, North Korea with technologies to learn how to fire ICBMs correctly. And as a result of that, we have seen them with their very first successful launch. Fired Up Freddy says, everyone smack that like button for Steve Ram. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that a ton. Vincent says, the biggest threat is hate. Israel Nicholas says, yes, Trump will help avoid war. Beverly Tinker is saying no. I'm seeing yeses and nos still coming in. God bless Steve and everyone. Pray your night as well and bless, says Lou Dog. Thank you for that. Yes, and if you're a praying individual, be sure to continue to pray for our nation, pray for Donald Trump, pray for the conflicts taking place. Also, in addition to that, as I mentioned, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, that's 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm also going to have a special guest on here that's going to be discussing, for those of you that like to hear it, the prophet Joseph Z is going to be on. He's going to be discussing what is taking place around the world and what he believes God's word is to the United States and to the church. So if you are interested, he's going to be on tomorrow. Don't miss it. I'll go ahead and have it scheduled maybe an hour ahead of time so that way you can see it and be ready. We're going to plan on going live around 2 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. And let me know in the comments, are you familiar with Joseph Z? If you are, drop a Z in the comments. If you are not, drop a X, so I can see how many people are familiar with Joseph Z. I'd just be curious, and again, if you're interested, maybe it'd be your first time hearing from him, getting to see somebody talk about these things. Consider joining us tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'm very excited to have him on board tomorrow and hear what he has to share with the community, see what he has to say about everything that is going on. I'm seeing X's. I'm seeing a couple Z's, people saying they are familiar with Joseph Z. I'm seeing Crystal saying, yes, he's cool. I'm seeing some X's for no's, and I'm seeing some Z's for yes. They know. So for those of you that are dropping those X's, be sure to join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. I think you're going to enjoy it, hearing what he has to say. He is a minister, man of God, and he's going to be sharing with us what he feels like, the direction that we're going to be going. And then for those of you putting those Z's, you know Joseph Z. I think you're going to enjoy it, so you don't want to miss it. We're going to be live, just talking about everything that's going on with world events. As you guys know, I like to keep up to speed on everything that's going on, share with you what's happening, and he likes to take a look at what is going to happen here in the future. King Spider Tom says, Steve, you should be the president. You know what, King Spider Tom, maybe we'll make a run 2028. We'll do Ram/King Spider Tom 2028. What do you say? We can make a run for it after Trump gets out of office. Fired Up Freddy saying he is a minister. Yes, he is. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. But you guys, like I said, we will see. Keep praying for the world, for our nation, for all the conflict that is taking place around the world. As I shared with you, we are seeing tons of headlines coming out regarding World War III, conflicts taking place. People are wondering, are we going to be able to avoid World War III? I just shared with you what the retired general had to say as he issued a warning in the last 24 hours. Tulsi Gabbard as well coming out and saying, they asked her, what is your attitude towards being a member of Trump's administration? She said, President Trump is going through, and I know that this is how he is spending a lot of his time right now, looking at making decisions about who he wants to serve on his team and his cabinet. And she said, if there is any way that I can help achieve the goal and the objective of preventing World War III and nuclear war, of course, I'd be honored to serve. And like I said, this comes as Vladimir Putin is issuing nuclear warnings, World War III warnings to Donald Trump directly. The United States is flexing with its own ICBM launch test on Election Day. Israel is saying they're prepared to hit nuclear facilities in Iran, and North Korea launching their own tests, and the United States sending a message to North Korea by dropping a B-1B bomber on the doorstep warning Kim Jong-un that his actions are not appreciated by the United States. Sandbox Homie, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that a ton. I will keep you up to speed on everything. Fired Up Freddy is saying that he would vote for a run for Steve Ram in 2028. Thank you. Sandbox Homie says yes. Thank you for that. I appreciate that a ton. Z, just saw him in October. He is great, says McBriggs. Awesome. And I'm seeing Maureen saying no, she doesn't think that Trump is going to be able to avoid World War III. Well, we will see. I will keep you guys up to date every step of the way so that way you know exactly what is going on. So if you appreciate the updates, all these articles are linked in the description below so you can see them for yourself. Take a second, do me a favor if you haven't done so yet. Hit the like button if you appreciate the updates. 20 more likes gets us to 1,300 while we're live. It just helps spread this out further so more people can get the latest information. I would appreciate it a ton. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? I'll keep you up to speed on everything. And like I said, don't miss out tomorrow to see Joseph Z live. We're going to be chatting it up, talking about everything that's going on in the world and where we are likely going to be heading here very soon. So that is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you in the next one. Take care. Have a great night. God bless. This is Steve.